Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the DCUO SourceCast. I swear I'll get it right.
Screw it up again after last week.
I swear I'll get it right one day. Welcome to the Source.
30 plus episodes under our belt, and under your belt, sir, and you messed up the intro for your own show. What is up with that?
It's
I'm not saying anything because I can't. If you drill into him anymore, he will just keep messing it up over and over again.
I think that's his plan. That is his plan. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the SourceCast. I am, of course, Missile Trex, and alongside me this holiday season, we have the Humbug Patriot. Super Humbug. Okay. All right, so we got Super Humbug, and then we also have Gingerbread.
Gingerbread, oh my god.
You couldn't think of anything, so Michael Grid did it.
Done.
Come back. Yes, so it's going to be myself, Super Patriot, and Vagrant. We're so happy to be back this week. So, let's, of course, start things off with, how was everybody's week?
Good. We're good.
Good?
You got 201 skill point mark.
Well, alrighty.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
How about you, Vagrant?
It's pretty good. Glad that Game Update 43 came out this week. I was looking forward to it a lot for Legends PvE and the Christmas event, of course.
Yes, that good old Christmas music that we only hear in the vault and not in Gotham.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I'm not going to question it. I don't question to our DCO overlords. I just don't. Not anymore. So, tonight we're going to be talking about Game Update 43. That is live right now on the servers. There's a lot of been heated discussions on the forums that we're going to discuss about. And I think we're going to touch upon some other stuff that came up during FNL. So, let's of course start talking about FNL, which, if I can find my button. Oh, there it is. Friday Night Legends. Tonight we had SJ Miller and, of course, Ted Stone.
Ted Stone.
SJ, of course, on the show, finally. And we also had the special guests of USPC's own Justice Girls. What? Woot. One of my favorite leagues I like to shoot around about. Love those girls. So, tonight was PvE Legends. They got to play around a little bit, and I got to play with SJ as well. SJ being a bunny, apparently. That's how they can name their controllers. They're bunnies, rabbits. It's an inside joke for them. I wish I knew it. And they did some nice little Let's Plays. They ran Sons of Trigon. They did an FOS alert that apparently I never did because my quest log tells me I didn't, but I know I did because I got the feats for it. And they went through the Christmas event, the seasonal event. So, all in all, it was a pretty solid show. Really solid turnout with the Justice Girls. How did you guys think about it?
It's always cool to see a dev get on there, and nothing against Jens, but it's always cool to see another dev, get on and be on the show and play with other players and everything. Plus, I like SJ. SJ's really cool. I kept trying to get an answer about the Independence Day of seasonal event, and Meps was ignoring my question.
Maybe he just didn't see it.
No, he saw it.
Oh.
He saw everything in the chat.
Yes, the chat overlord, that is Meps. And yeah, I mean, SJ is in charge, especially like all last week, she was working, and really, you need to follow her on Twitter, because she doesn't give out the spittle leaks. She doesn't do the spittle leaks, but she does the SJ teases, which should show a section of the script that she helped write, and like mention some stuff that like maybe a voice actor said or something. It's like, oh my god, this is really cool. So she had to handle a lot of the voice acting stuff for Amazon Fury Part 2 last week. She teased a little bit about that on Twitter. So you definitely need to be following her at SJ_Nerd of Prey to understand what is going on in the audio sound booth. Because I want to be in that booth. That's where I want to be. I want to be in there. Yes, so apparently, okay, so we actually got Justice Girl Celeste here. They definitely call their controllers bunnies. Oh, because of the
Energizer bunny.
Yeah, okay, it comes full circle. Full circle. Look at there. 2 and 2 together. Bow, 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 bow. We just call our trolls, you know, well, I don't know what really call them. We try to be nice to our players. A little bit. So, this right here was the last FNL normal, I guess I would call it, for the year. Next week, we're going to be on the FNL tour on the US PC side for the Bah Humbug Brawl. Kudos to Cursebringer for the name. So we're going to have an FNL tour on the US PC, the Bah Humbug Brawl for Legends characters next week, next Friday on FNL. So stay tuned for that because I think I'm actually going to be on that one. Help doing the Super Patriot thing of help organize it or something. I don't know yet. Last time I checked, I was going to do it. You never know. Might get sick or something. Might get stuck in traffic. You know, God forbid something happens. I don't have any wood to knock on. So someone knock on wood for me. Hopefully everything goes accordingly and I can be on the show again. And talk to my favorite devs before the Christmas break and we don't see them until January. Sometime in January. So stay tuned for FNL next week. Can't wait to be on it once again. So, first thing I want to bring up, and thank you, Vagrant, for reminding us. It was a pretty spectacular weekend after we did our show last week, because I think it might have been the next day on that Saturday. And if I got the dates wrong, I do apologize. But hell, it might have been on Monday. But either way, Carp. If you remember last week, we talked about the DCUO Work in Progress Broker UI coming for the new UI there. So, you know, we had a nice little discussion about, you know, combining the heroes and villain broker. You know, make it cooperate a bit. Make it cross-faction there. Cross-faction broker. We thought it was a great idea. Had a nice discussion about it. I think some people might have went to the forums about it. Lo and behold, I think it actually might have been on Monday. I go into the forums, someone gives me the link. It's like, hey, look, broker's going to be cross-faction. Thanks, Carp. Like, that's pretty cool. Someone must...
Thank us. Thank us. Sorry, idea, damn it.
It was totally...
People have been asking for a merged broker for a couple of years now, I think.
Yes.
Every once in a while, you'll see it pop up. You know, can we merge the brokers yet? I'm getting tired of going to my villain to try and buy things cheaper.
So I have to say that, I mean, even though a lot of people in the forums have said it, I think with Super Patriot's GM powers that he has, and
yes.
and the voice of DCUO that all three of us are, we help bring what the community wanted to light. So community, you are welcome.
See, I have to give credit to my fellow GM app partner because alone our GM apps, all right, on our phones, our GM apps, you know, when they're just by themselves, right, they only have 3 functions. Okay, it has a buff function, it has a nerf function, and what was the other one? Oh, what's the other function? Nerf, buff, and...
ban? I don't know.
Ban, yeah, nerf, buff, and ban. Those are the only 3 functions we have with our apps. All right, but when we sync our apps together, that's when the magic happens.
Like some Wonder Twin powers over there?
Yes, yeah. When me and Brittany, when we sync our apps together, that's when the magic happens, and that's when you get things like, you know, combined, you know, brokers for heroes and villains. So you're welcome, buddy.
Wow. just well.
Dude, I told her when somebody started blaming me and her for things getting changed in this game, I was like, I'm gonna run this into the freaking ground. They're never going to want to give me that much fictional power again.
And there you go. So congratulations, guys. Not from us, but because you guys made your vocals heard on the forums. We now have the heroes and the villain brokers will be combining, so we can get that cross-faction going. Now, Carp did say that that's not going to be coming out at the same time that the new UI does, so we're actually going to get that beforehand. So I'm really excited to see that happen before we get the new UI, and still, even for the new UI, I'm still excited to see that as well.
Ed in the chat, I'm telling you, flight players being able to jump cancel, totally my idea. I pitched it to Tunso at SOE Live. He had not even thought of that, considered it, until I said something to him about it.
Is that happening for real?
It's right now. It's live.
Is it?
Oh,
I didn't even know.
Did I not read that? Did I miss that in the notes?
Was that really in the notes? Because that makes a lot of like certain Legends characters' abilities 10 times better. Because now you can use
not
them
to
in the air
mention.
and jump.
Yeah, not to mention, it's like, a lot with powers with like fire with you use and absorb heat and all that to set your volatility up and everything, to set the power back up and all that. You can jump cancel up out of that. Flight, your rage with plasma wretch. You can jump cancel out of that while you're flying now. Now if they would just tone down some of the grounding effects, like Wonder Woman freaking lassoing me when I'm only 2 inches off the ground.
Okay. We can only work one miracle at a time. One miracle at a time. We'll get there.
Might actually be able to fly during an entire raid. Who knows?
All right, so Game Update 43 launched this week. Super excited because it brought in a lot of good stuff. I'm actually logging into the forums now because apparently it logged me out. Thank you, forums. I did not want to be on the game. I did not want to be on your forums. I just did not. So, actually, I want to hit on the server hotfix that is coming out tomorrow. Just really fast because it's really important. So, the 3 little things coming for the hotfix tomorrow. 1, Legends PvP at the South Gotham Courthouse. The jury tampering and can't hide feats have been removed from the Legends PvE, from that feat category. The combat Legends characters are not able to crowd control enemies. And then in Halls of Power Part 1, the alert, security breach. Fix an issue where doors blocked players from continuing the security breach instance when using the Undersea League Hall. I know that actually came about this, I think maybe yesterday. I think I saw people report it. So really cool that they were able to get that fixed for y'all. So now it's like,
wait a minute, they're removing
Trex says fixed for y'all because he can't run the content yet.
I'm on security breach. I actually had to stop running security breach, and hand to God, I am so sorry to say this, but every time I run security breach, I fall asleep.
Oh, dude, don't even give me that.
I am so sorry to say that, but every time I'm running it now, I feel that I'm like, people read a book to go to sleep. If I'm not
the only one.
I log onto the game like, I need to go to bed. Security breach. Oh my God, I'm so tired. Let's go to bed. I finished the instance though, but
I'm not the only one. That's awesome.
Wait.
Yeah,
Wait. Are they removing like feats from Legends PvE? Like, what if you already got them? Do you still have them, or
they removed it from the list, from the category. That's what the hotfix said.
Right.
So
what does that mean if you got it already? Like,
that's a good question.
Were you able to get? Did you get the jury tampering one?
no, it was just a question. Like, what if you've already
Oh.
got
I think the reason why they're removing them is because there was something going on where you could not accomplish those feats.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
That's why, because I tried running it yesterday with my league, and we tried getting the jury tampering one, and we got all 12. You know, we stacked it, and it didn't pop for us.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, speaking of Legends, Game Update 43 did bring us Legends PvE. So we have Legends characters that can go into an alert. It's over there in the event tab. The first instance, the first alert that we have for this is South Gotham Courthouse. So I'm just wanting to mention it. And actually, we might as well just go ahead and start the discussion on it now, since we're early into the program, because of the fact that I have the forums are split. It's like Republican and Democrat on the forums. Everybody loves it. Everybody hates it. You can't find that middle ground of a Green Party with Legends PvE right now.
I'm going to say this. My first impression of it. Well, my first impression of it was when the three of us ran it. Let's
take our mind frame out of the test server. Let's do that.
I know, and that was just completely not fun because
no,
it was a glitched build. It was the unintended build. I'll say that that they put out there. Yesterday was my first time running it on live, and I was not having as much fun as I normally would have. But that was because we were going for the feat where you allow all sentences to pass. When you're fighting the what's his name?
Judge?
The judge, yeah. When you're fighting the judge and all that, and you let all the sentences pass, I was not having fun during that mainly because it was taking so freaking long.
Yeah.
But I'm sure going in there, not going after feats such as that, it's a lot more fun.
Well, Baker, how is your time with? Have you done the Legends PvE yet?
Yeah, I think it's fine. I thought it was fine. I thought it was fine on test server. It's not hard.
I know for one thing. I ran it last night, and I was having a bad day. So either way, I ran it last night and got into a pug, and they were actually, I mean, it was a failed pug. They were on the lawyers. They were on the defense and the prosecution, and it was one wipe. And sadly enough, I did leave, but I left by accident because when I respawned, I made a right and went to the portal instead of making a left, and I exited and I completely left the instance instead of going down into the instance. So that was my bad, and I do apologize to that group if you're listening. I did not want to leave. I meant to stay. But we did wipe on it one time, and it's trying to get your mindset out of it that you have no healer. You have no dedicated tank. It's basically everyone's kind of a DPS, and blah. That's basically how I look at it. I mean, I went in with Lex, and I was in the air, away from everything, just bombing everything I can. But, I mean, people were just, of course, people were in melee range, and they didn't have heals going, they weren't blocking. It became a big cluster F.
Yeah, you definitely need to take advantage of the rollless buffs that you get for the alerts and all that in the Legends PvE. I remember for a while there during one of the boss fights, I know for a fact, the four of us were just standing there, we were just holding block the whole time. Just like, okay, we're gonna heal up now.
Yeah.
But, it's kind of cool. It's actually gonna kind of force me to as far as the feats are concerned, play some Legends characters I haven't really played before. I've dabbled with pretty much all of the Legends characters, but I have not played them to any vast extent. At least a lot of them. So going in there and all that, it's like it was the first yesterday. I did the Batman and Robin feat with one of my league mates, where you team up as Batman and Robin and go in there. And that was kind of cool. And of course, like throwing Batman's turret out every time it came off cooldown to keep everybody powered up, because that's a cool little function. I can't have a troller. I'm going to play Batman.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean it's fun. It's fun. It's just like I said, going for that feat on the last boss was it just, I'm like, oh my god, is it done yet?
Yeah. So, everyone on the forums are at least in agreement that this was possibly the worst alert to start this off with. Because even on the normal alert of South Gotham Courthouse, I ran it when it launched. I ran it as much times as I could, and then I completely I don't want to do it anymore. I'm done. Get away from me. I got my feats. I don't want to do this anymore. And so it does force us to go back into an instance that was possibly one of the toughest alerts out there. And even for me, I still find it tough, even as a hot 104 or whatever. Because it's definitely a mechanic-driven fight. It definitely takes a lot of patience. But do I like the difficult? Yes. Do I still feel that I really, really, really hate it? Yes. All the time. All the time. Just hate it. But okay, so Legends PvE is on the event tab. It's going to be here for a while. I think Spittle did mention somewhere, maybe at SW Live, I can't remember. I think I heard some on the forum say that League of Assassins he's working on, so we might see that on the next one. But let's also remember.
I think when they revealed it at SOE Live, they actually had some pictures of inside.
Yeah,
it was League of Assassins, and then it was during a Friday Night Legends. Spittle was like, "Hopefully, you'll see some other places in the future." And then he kind of whispered League of Assassins really quickly.
And then Mep shot him a dirty look and changed the subject very quickly.
So let's also remember that, yes, you have to get used to the rollless buffs for Legends PvE. With League of Assassins, while it might be like the quickest instance, one of the quickest instances in the game that you can just blow through it. Oh god, so fast. But and that's the one thing I have to give. I try to give credit for South Gotham Courthouse as well, that it's not an entire burn through 5-minute run. You gotta take your time. You gotta take the mechanics into play. With League of Assassins, you kind of really don't have to do that. You just gotta have to stay out of the green stuff and then just keep burning the boss. So that's probably why everybody really wants to have League of Assassins, because they want to do this really fast. Unlike South Gotham Courthouse, you can't do that really fast. But we shall see, because once again, you have to still use the rollless buffs. Ha 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 ha.
Yep.
Next thing I want to touch on is another really hot button discussion on the forums. The display equipped combat rating. So we were all worried about the app, about the data being showing our combat rating. We're all worried about it. We all wanted to have the combat rating on inspect level. Now, when you reach level 30, your combat rating is going to be right there on your HUD. Still a little number 30 is going to actually show your number. So everyone can see it. Everyone in there, well, and mom if they're watching. So, with that, people, of course, are not happy. They blame, and I'm actually quoting this, I don't know where this term came from, but I want to shake that man's hand because I find it funny. The app holes. Have you guys people have been saying it's like only the app holes are really going to care about that number. And
awesome.
I saw them.
I love it.
Right?
That name is just too good.
It's really good. I need to see a league with that name. I want that. Please, Meps, let that name go through. If someone was to have that league, so we know who to stay away from in game. We all know who you are, and we'll know, and so we'll stay away. We will not group with you because you're an apple. That's right. So, and the forums are right. If people are only looking at your number instead of looking at your skill, then they have a problem, and it's not you. Because at the same time, remember that this is actually what you have equipped. I mean, I'm a tank. I might be in my DPS gear because I might just be doing solos or stuff, and I haven't switched over yet. But you're just going to make this quick assumption that, hey, you have a CR of 100? You're not getting in here, buddy. Kick. Like, but I have 111 tank gear. What are you doing to me? Why? Why would you do this? Because they're apples. That's why. I really like this term. Why couldn't we come up with this term?
Real quick, everybody, just put this out there. SJ _Nerd SJ Mueller from tonight's FNL, is on Twitter right now. She's saying if you didn't get a chance to ask her a question during tonight's FNL, to go ahead and ask her on Twitter. She may even answer them truthfully.
But after the show. Do it after the show.
Yeah.
Well, open up a separate tab and go over there.
Open up a separate, or we have these things called smartphones now, Trex, where I'm 40 years. I'm like in my 40s, and I'm the one that thinks of using my phone for this.
Because I'm a professional and I'm not on my phone.
Yeah. I'm not
Sir.
on my phone either. I'm just saying, everybody else out there, they could pick up their phones and do it.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you guys can do that. Yeah. So, have you guys experienced anything in game with this combat rating situation?
No.
A couple of finger points and chuckles, but other than that, no.
So you haven't seen anyone in the shout or any groups that you've been with have actually seen people get kicked because of their combat rating?
I don't normally pug.
True. True, I forgot you have one of the largest PS4 guilds, yeah.
No, I don't. By any stretch, but I don't normally pug, so I don't really see it that often. I don't really see it that often from people getting kicked for that. Even before with the app. So I mean, it's like, we had one guy, in my league who, he's an awesome nature DPS. Awesome nature DPS. Every time Crappy Heels complains about nature DPS, I tell him he needs. I point to this guy and say, this guy makes it work a hell of a lot better than you say it is. But I just look over at him the other day, last night, and I'm trying to figure out why his CR was like 105 or 104, and sure as hell, he still had like a Vestments of Rage shoulders on for his DPS build, and I'm like, what the, well, dude? I mean, like, there's gear drops in the alerts now. Upgrade that shit. But and yet this guy's still out damaging like everybody in my league.
Wow.
With nature. Yeah, so I mean that's why every time Krabby complains about nature, I just like, dude, you need to talk to this guy because apparently you're not doing it right. Yes, Master James is number 1.
What about you on the villain side, Vagrant?
I'm in the same boat as Super Patriot. My league, Nightmare Legion, we've been recruiting a lot. So, like, I'm on, like, right now, and I think there's about 20 people on. And I never really have to run anything as a pug. So I never pug anything.
So I'm that only lonely guy. Okay, understood.
Well, even then, when you do pug, I mean, to queue into the certain thing that you're getting into, you have to have a certain combat rating anyways. And queuing for a raid's going to take forever, at least on the PC side. So I just never queue for a raid, and I'm sure most of the PC players don't anyways. They always make a pre-made group.
Yeah.
So you just won't really find that too much on the PC side. I can see it happening on the PlayStation side a lot more. But no, I've never come across an instance, even without the combat rating display, of where people just kick someone based on their number. It's always been based on, you know, skill. If we kick somebody, it's because you were sucking during the raid.
So, another cool thing that came out with this game update is I'm really happy. Did you guys get your holiday gifts from DCUO?
Did.
What'd you get?
I got me a nice slim orange aura.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah.
What'd you get, Vagrant?
Got a dark purple aura.
Oh. I got a slim pink aura.
That figures.
I thought you were going to say black aura and then say something. Never mind.
No. That's... I can't even say that's racist because either way I was going to say that's racist. No, I got the slim pink aura, and that's I'm pretty happy because me and Brittany match. Felt pretty good. So if you were,
that was a cool, nice little surprise.
Yeah. So if you were a member, apparently starting Monday, I believe, and you became a member on Monday, you logged on, I think yesterday, and you got a gift from when the game update launched. You got, boom, yay, you got a surprise. And you got an aura. I know a couple people got black auras, and they were super happy about it. I got a pink aura. I think as a Red Lantern, I enjoy it. I quite enjoy it. See, Dave got himself a green aura. Someone's looking for a black aura. Ed gave away a pink aura. That is so nice, Ed. Kudos to you. He is such a kiss-ass soup. You need to take care of that. But anyways.
He's a panty chaser. He's a panty chaser in the league. So.
Love you, Ed. So, in this, we also got Deathstroke in the game now. He launched with game update 43, and
yes.
Oh,
I don't understand what this big deal is about this pink aura though, because we've had a pink aura since they put auras in the game.
Stop it!
They just misnamed it purple.
Stop it!
What? It's the truth.
Well, the pink aura is more defined. It has a lighter shade
of red.
I totally agree with you on the purple though. How it did look very, very pink.
It still does.
So the gifts were, in case you guys were a little confused about it, the gifts were 1 account per member. It's only for that 1 account. But you can, of course, trade the aura over to your other characters. It was only a one-time thing, wasn't it, Soups? Like, you logged on, you got your present, and you were done?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so...
I haven't tried to redeem it on my other characters yet to see if it truly
I don't think
is a
you
combat.
could.
Yeah.
I think it was just you got it once and then it was done.
Yeah, this is pretty much like the Christmas present from DCUO. Merry Christmas, you got yourself an aura. Now accept the aura. Just accept it. Just let it bathe all over you. Pink.
I did see a question. I did see a question though during FNL where because because believe it or not, hey, when legendary people get free stuff, the premium and free players complain. Where I saw somebody ask during FNL tonight if they were planning on doing anything for the premium players, and I could not resist. I had to answer the guy and tell him that there probably is going to be a sale on escrow access. So
yeah, because we are officially wow. So we are officially in the 12 days of deals for DCUO, the holiday deals. 12 days of amazing deals. And why are they amazing? Because I was told they were amazing. Unquoted. No source material. So our first one was some Legends characters got a little discount. Instead of the 1,000 station cash or marketplace, it was $750 for, I believe, Green Arrow and Kyle Rayner, was it not? If I looked at that correctly.
Yeah, $750 because they did 25% off, and then
yeah.
if you had the membership discount even further, you saved even more.
Yeah. And they did release on what tomorrow's deal is going to be, and sadly, I don't know what it is because my laptop was skipping on me. As soon as Meps was like...
deal is on respect tokens.
Respect tokens! That is Saturday's deal.
In general, actually.
Oh, it's upgrades in general? Mm-hmm. Okay. So there you go. There's your Saturday deal. So get that marketplace cash at that station.
Folks, I'm just going to put this out there too, because this is in relation to the sale on Legends characters. Right? I understand now, if you're legendary, now keep this in mind, if you're legendary and you type really loud,
mechanical keyboard.
I thought I had my mic turned off.
No!
Now, if you are legendary, you can purchase the Legends characters with Marks of Legend in the game. That's if you are legendary, all right?
Member.
So
that's the term, is member, if you're a member.
Yes, if you're a member. Sorry. So, everybody out there, I want to suggest, make sure you understand how the workings of the marketplace go, as far as, what you have access to, as far as purchasing, in the game, with in-game currency or from the marketplace, before you send tells to Spittle saying a Legends marketplace sale, but we can buy those tunes with Marks of Legend. LOL, all about the money. Don't be that guy.
Apparently, because someone was already that guy.
Yeah, somebody was definitely all that guy. and I cannot wait to get into the game to tell little monster there that how much he derped all over himself. Oh man.
So stay tuned more on DCUO's Facebook and their Twitter to learn more, and also on the forums. They'll post on the forums on the 12 days of deals, DCUO holiday special deal thingy, blah 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 blah. So, and speaking of deals, speaking of seasons, speaking of holidays, speaking of Larfleas, we had a season's greetings back, the seasonal event with Christmas with our good buddy Larfleas, and once again another hot topic on the forums, because this event brings us the stat banding. Ooh. Sorry, it felt really creepy every time people brought it up. It's like, oh my god, it's the end of the world. So,
who cares?
Right? So, let's remember that every time an event comes in, especially the summer event with Aquaman, because, like, dear Lord, if that does not take less than 3 minutes, people get angry really fast. And
I thought it was so stupid that you could literally walk in, use maybe one combo real quick, and it would kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah. that penetration.
I was like, no.
So.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So now DCO has brought in the stat clamping, stat banding, whatever. The stat banding. So that means that when you walk in, oh, I'm Big Bad 111. I'm awesome. You jump in that instance, boom, you're down to CR 38. How you feel, brother? You feel bad? Well, don't be, because now you're going to have to work for that. You're not going to have to work for that win, and you're going to enjoy it. You're going to enjoy it. And that's the point of the stat banding. People were complaining that they were running through these events too fast. They wanted to enjoy it more. Okay, well, the way we're going to do this is we're going to put a cap on your stats to make you a certain CR, and you're going to go in this. Now, that means that you're going to have to work your tail off. You're going to have to use group. You're going to have to use teamwork. And yes, Brittany, I see your post there. You rather have them buff enemies to average CR of the group rather than stat Clampus. Shush, woman. Just shh. Just go over there.
I could see a lot of ways. I could see a lot of ways to game that.
Right? Yeah. But
you go in there. You go in there with three 111s and all that, and then carry a 34.
Well, at least with this, they kept it the currency that you could gain each day the same. They didn't reduce it.
Yes. Yeah,
that's probably why the Halloween event you only got 3 spooky bites per day, because you could do the instance in like 2 freaking seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. So with and actually, there's like a pretty long thread that's entitled "Please Nerf Larfleas."
Really?
Yeah. It's pretty long.
And okay.
The stat clamping doesn't really bother me that much, because my mass stat's hitting for about the same in there as it does outside. So, I'm used to it. But I mean, seriously, I mean, it makes it just like 3 or 4 minutes longer. I mean, we ran it the first night it was on test, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And we were in there for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was 5 glorious minutes of working my butt off. I didn't have to I didn't put my face on the keyboard and just rolled around a little bit. I mean, I actually had to focus and pay attention.
I think what people are saying Nerf Larfleas for is because they just turn their brain off and forget that he has a mechanic during the one part where you can actually beat him. They're like, why does his health keep going back up? What are these presents that I can interact with? Let me just forget everything and keep mashing the keyboard or controller until he dies.
I was about ready to kill him and all that, and those damn presents dropped down and blocked my line of sight.
Wow.
Let me just not move. Let me just keep holding freaking ranged and weapon mastery all day.
And Brittany and Dave, I definitely see where you guys are saying that you rather have the enemies buff instead of all the work you've done with CR and SP get really knocked back down. But in my eyes, it serves the purpose of for me.
It's a seasonal event. It's a one-time thing that comes around, during a specific time of the year, and that's it. I mean, you're in there for 5 minutes and you're out. It's a non-issue.
I don't see what the big deal is.
I feel
I don't understand the big deal.
Maybe it was on a developer standpoint that was easier to kind of like control our stats a bit more instead of doing it on a villain, on the enemy NPCs. Well, maybe not, but that's the only really way I can think of that they went with the stat clamping to make us all equal CR of this level for a seasonal event, instead of like, hey, we have, if you have a group of CR 111s, that's how tough the boss is going to be. If you have a group of CR 110s, it's going to also hard to gauge, because you can have a 111, a 110, 104, and a 38 just all cramped into one another. How do you determine the level of difficulty for the boss when you have that many different CRs across the board?
Yep. The average, even then, even if they averaged it, like something like that, it put their CR around like 70 something. That's still too easy for a CR like 100 plus.
Yeah.
That you would still nearly one-shot it.
Yeah.
Having an average CR
now
combat rating for the enemies would not fix the problem.
I'm gonna address something here. She just brought it up and all that. Brittany's concern is that it's going to lead to stat clamping in other instances. Like this is just the beginning type thing. And the moment they come out and start saying they're going to put stat clamping on, like, freaking Outer Caverns or Kondak or FOS3 or anything like that, I will be right there next to you saying bullshit. No. Knock it off.
What they'll do probably is have a choice where you can have it to where you run it as your character in his current gear, and you can raffle stomp it, whatever, make it boring, in my opinion. Or you can have something. Well, they'll probably name it something like a classic mode or whatever, where they give you the choice of, do you want to stamp clamp yourself, and have it to where they'll have, like, you know, feats attached to it or new styles or something to make people want to run it that way. That's what they'll probably do for regular content.
Yeah, I mean,
as a choice.
Yeah, I mean, I can of course see it as like the launch instances that we got, make those a stat clamp of so a CR 111 can't just walk in and carry some little CR 34 all the way through it. That CR 111 can, in my eyes, it doesn't have to be a choice. I'll perfectly be okay if a CR 111 wants to jump in there and help his CR 34 buddy, but you're gonna get those same stats too. Or it could be a choice. Either way. I mean, I see the.
But that's what I'm saying.
Burger Dave here in the chat, he's saying that, you know, that Spittle's already said that is the intentions. They're going to start stat clamping on other instances and everything. I have not heard him say this.
I don't remember that from SOE Live. I don't remember that.
I don't remember seeing that anywhere. Unless it was in the stat clamping, you know, discussion that was going on. Did you hear Meps freaking banned him from the forums?
Good and good for it. Good for it. Sometimes you just gotta walk away. And Spittle the love of him, he just can't. And I think he even had a post saying that he was gonna walk away, and he didn't walk away.
He came right back. But I haven't seen that. If that's the case, like I said, I will be, you know, the first one to stand up and say, no, knock that shit off. You know, keep it to the seasonal events. That's fine, but don't mess with the rest of the game. You know, I like walking into outer caverns every once in a while and just walking through there. As I've got, like, you know, video ideas, you know, percolating in the back of my head, you know, for like movies and stuff that I would like to do by, you know, going in and, you know, walking through outer caverns by myself, or going into Subconstruct by myself and everything. So I mean, yeah, don't do that with the rest of the game. Don't do it. Plus, and I can't really get into this and all that. Trex knows about it though. There's something else coming out there for everybody. In regards to instances that's currently being discussed, that I think a lot of people are gonna like.
I have no clue what you're talking about. I am complete. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's on our super secret squirrel forums. You need to go check that out.
Man, I have not been there in a long time. I normally get told when to go there.
When I go to SOE Live this next coming year, I better be added to that.
We'll talk. We'll have to see how many other redheads are in the CC. I think there's a limit on how we can have. But
0?
I don't know yet. We'll figure it out.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, you guys. I mean, I do completely get, you know, how y'all feel about. I understand how you feel about it, because, you know,
same.
I'm up there with you guys. You know, I'm 111 CR. You know, I've got 201 skill points now. You know, I'm pushing to get more skill points. I'm pushing to get my gear up. You know, every time, every day, and so I definitely understand how you guys feel about, you know, all that work and all that means nothing inside the seasonal. But then I remember it's just a 5-minute seasonal, and then, you know, I don't have to worry about it. it's just a seasonal. It takes 5 minutes. Just don't pug it anymore.
Yeah.
Because people are like, "Where are the boxes for?"
Wow.
What do we have to turn the cog on his box? I don't understand.
So another thing that happened on with the release of Game Update 43, and I don't know how many people really noticed it at launch, but the Marks of Triumph The marks of triumph that you hold in your inventory, that you physically can hold in your character. Well, actually, that makes no sense in my mind now. The marks of triumph that goes into your inventory, that goes into your inventory, that you actually have to click and accept. Those officially now have an expiration date. They have a 60-day expiration timer. That after 60 days they go bye-bye. So now if you are at that cap, you either need to spend it or lose it. It's basically how I was told, or at least how I read it.
But you got what, 60 days though?
Yeah, right. I mean, you can find a way.
60 days. You got 60 days and all that. Cap yourself out on marks. Buy all the boost 3s. Good to go. do a Catalyst 5. Do a Catalyst 5 giveaway.
Wow.
That and then they increase the total that you can hold.
Yeah, which is awesome. Better yet, go take those marks and go and complete all the vendor styles you haven't done yet.
Oh yes.
There you go. The marks of triumphs have the expiration date. Marks of triumphs. Again, these are only the ones that you, when you complete a quest or when you complete like FOS, the marks will go into your inventory. Not your currency tab, but in your inventory. When it goes into your inventory, those will have a 60-day expiration date. So, use them or lose them. And now the nitty-gritty of Game Update 43 a little bit. We're going to touch upon the new or fixed or...
Can I just say something real quick? Because everybody's like, well, what am I supposed to do with all the triumph if I've done all that? Here's what you guys do, okay? Stop running Tier 5 content for rent runs. All right? Keep running the Tier 6 content. You know what? Get all your marks of fury. For every 10 you trade those in, you get more marks of triumph from a 10 fury token than you do from...
Stop knocking.
Reward monthly. I'm sorry. Than you do from the monthly reward boxes.
See, your knocking caused the dog to bark.
All that knocking.
No, no, Brittany, they don't. No, they don't. I've got like 9 10 token furies, 10 fury tokens sitting in my bank. They do not have an expiration date on them.
Yeah, the marks of merit tokens are okay. They are okay. So, advancement.
So, you guys don't have to run Nexus, A and B, Paradox, any of that Tier 5 stuff anymore for rent runs.
Yeah.
There you go.
So we got the advanced mechanic updates. So along with we talked a little bit about this stuff last couple of times. Excuse me. Specifically right here, we have the mice-based advanced mechanics. When using a mice-based advanced mechanic, you now gain an additional 5% chance to crit and 25% crit damage for all superpowers to balance against the passive weapon attack crit bonuses received from purchasing weapon mastery tabs. So that's for you. There's also been we have the abilities for ice. We have new stuff for light, for nature, and I think for fire and for fire. And for mental. Like, my God, they really fit a lot of stuff in here on this update. Just a lot.
Yeah, it's a huge update.
Oh yeah. And sadly, I haven't had a chance to play around with any of these actually. I was on my rage character last night working on my main. Is anyone else on any of these panels besides Super Patriot being fire?
I have some members of my league that are those powers.
Well, I expect that. Cute.
Some of my members are ice. Hard light's always been popular.
Yeah.
I know someone that was mental.
I have a guy in my league. He's a really good mental DPS before the update. and I do say that before the update. And they've actually he showed me a feedback thread for update 43 for the mental side of it, and from my understanding, the new AM with the advanced mechanic changes to mental, it's made it's not as versatile as, say, like Gadgets is. And the same thing could be said about Fire too, because you have to run specific powers for Fire in order to use the advanced mechanic. But in regards to mental, it's extremely cookie cutter, from my understanding. He's not seeing the same numbers that he was getting before. And he said the weapon mastery side of it is much more power hungry than it was before.
Maybe. I never really even understood how the mental advanced mechanics work, because I know you had to start off that 3-stack chain reaction or something with that one ability, and then certain abilities would take advantage of that.
Right, you're talking about the resonance?
Yeah, the big, huge bubble around your character that made it hard to see.
I'm going down here to the mental changes right now. Let's see.
But yeah, resonance is what is correct. Like I didn't understand it. Like it worked like Gadget's combat readiness or whatever. I can't remember what it's called. Where you had to cast that first, I believe, right? And then once you casted that, then certain abilities would take advantage of it. And I never really
with Gadgets and all that, you throw battle, you put up battle display. You put out 3 different PIs. Usually, people are using Gauss Grenade, Fear Gas, and Cryofoam.
Yep.
For that, and then
but you have other options, which makes Gadgets a little more flexible.
Yeah. But with mental, it's really cookie cutter. I mean, they got past the Mass Terror debacle. Where they where they were going to take the dots away from Mass Terror, which freaked everybody out. But yeah, the guy that the mental guy that I usually run with in my league and everything, he's just not seeing the same numbers with the advanced mechanic, and he's not happy that the weapon mastery side was a lot more power hungry now. So I don't know. Nature, on the other hand, it's ungodly now. It's ridiculous. It was.
With the Primal Wolf one?
Not just that, but I mean, it's just ungodly now how much damage I see James putting out. And like I said, the guy's still got like a vestments piece on, and he's like normally beating people out, in like by 1 million in our league runs.
Mm-hmm. And now it's even worse.
Yeah. Now it's even worse.
I've been sorcerer for a while now, but
yeah. The fire changes, though, I won't get into it too much. Fire deserves to have a long-range group pull.
Agreed.
In a discussion.
Agreed. Not sure what it would be called, but
flame whip.
Certain powers.
Did you say flame rope?
Flame whip.
He said flame whip.
Flame whip. This is not Lord of the Rings. No.
Hey, dude, come on, man.
You're not getting the weapon that killed Gandalf. You're not.
It didn't kill him.
Well,
it
whatever.
Helped him transcend.
Oh.
It did pull him over in almost that whole group, so it was a ranged AoE pull.
Stop it.
There you go.
Stop it.
There you go. seriously. I mean, it deserves a group pull. All right, just like Rage has, and Rage has both pulls. It's got the AOE pull around it,
and a single target.
and it's got the freaking group range. You know, Ice, doesn't have the AOE, but it's got the group range, and Earth has an AOE, but it's got a single target. My issue is, and all that, the whole thing with it's not part of Fire's design is, oh my god, that infuriated me so much. Because there have been so many things in this game that have been changed from their original design. You know, Deathstroke was originally dual pistols. And what's he now? He's one-handed. Yeah. Changed from his original design. All right, so that's just, I don't know, that's deflecting as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, that was really wow. Because I got in a discussion with this about it with Spittle on Twitter the other day.
About, we all know. We all know.
Well, here's the thing. Neat little fact. Nice little fact here and all that. It was brought to my attention and all that Spittle, who was completely against flight and all that, even though he was complaining about not having a group pull with Earth, recently, like the next day, switched to skimming for the group pull for low pressure. So, yeah.
At the same time, as a fire tank, when I was fire tanking, I didn't have to worry about pools. I made sure I was all in. But I definitely understand. I definitely see why it needs it, and it does need it. I think to compare with all the other tank roles, they should be equal across the board on how they do their pools. Everyone should have the same pools. The mechanics can stay the same, can be different. I'm okay with that. But I feel that every one of them should have the same pull mechanic to make them viable for the player to use.
Yeah, and Ed brings up a good point too. Remember how they had that discussion how they were going to change the way like some of the movements looked, based off what your power was.
Yeah.
How are you going to be fire and acro and grapple line anywhere?
Well, I mean, I got gas.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Whatever. Whatever. The rope is gonna burn either way, so it'll get me to where I need to go.
I am liking my increased heals though. I am liking it.
Yeah, I see here that using a superpower now increases restoration when wearing item level 81 or higher gear. Okay.
I changed up the way I was specking my skill points a while back before I even knew about this. So I was like, stacking up on dominance and health and on the resto in the weapons mastery trees down there already. Now when I activate a power with my current gear and everything, my mods and all that stuff, my resto's almost hitting 5K, which is like 2K higher than what my dominance is right
now.
Wow. Yeah. My heals are working pretty good. And yes, Juno, you're correct. Fire is the only tank power without a shield. It's like the only power without a shield. That and gadgets.
It's true.
I can tell, and I can tell you now, as a person who has a power with a shield, F that shield. That thing has no mitigation, serves no purpose. None. Besides the fact that, I have a red shield around me. Oh, it's gone in one hit. And now the damage is still pouring in. Has no point.
I'd like to see a shield that fire gets where instead of just mitigating damage, you just heal a portion of what you're receiving. Kind of like Rage for a second.
No, don't give him ideas. Do not give him ideas.
Hey, Rage stole everything from fire. Don't even give me that.
It did. It did.
We made fire look good. We are the better fire. Come, embrace the rage.
Bull crap. Especially when rage was being shown off. I was like, this is what fire
needs to be. Yeah. Agreed.
Gosh.
Agreed. But fire doesn't give me a cool ring, though. I love my ring.
I'm fine with fire not having a shield. We got something like fire has something like that you're talking about, Vagrant. It's called Eternal Flame.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
That is true. That's the thing. It's like fire. People have always said fire needs shield. In my eyes, when I was fire tanking, like I don't want a shield unless it gave me the healing thing that Vagrant came up with. But yeah, like I don't need a shield. I need to take all this damage. I heal myself. I heal through this, and even as a rage tank. Like, F that shield. Come here. Hit me harder.
Yeah, and that's another thing, too. Tally talks about here. Out of the four tank powers in the game, fire is the only one that benefits more from Dom and Health mods than it does from just straight dominance.
Very true.
All the other ones, you want to go straight Dom.
Let's see. I think that was really it. I think there was actually one thing that I think Vagrant wanted to bring up. Where was it?
Vagrant wants to talk about. Let's talk about that.
What did Vagrant want to bring up?
Bring up your subject.
We'll let you end the show with this. We're already on an hour in, so we have maybe 20 more minutes so we can discuss this.
Okay. Well, I was gonna ask if Soups, did you get enough talking about your fire tanking?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. I got most of that out of my system. My only thing is this, folks. All right, here's the thing. Public service announcement about this, all right?
Damn it. Damn it, Vagrant.
I main with fire, and I play with pretty much every other power in the game. I would call myself a dabbler in those powers. I would not consider myself an expert. All right. So I will not go into your advanced mechanic threads or discussions on social media and throw in my 2 cents saying how what you want for that power is stupid and not necessary because it's something you want for that power that you play all the time. All right. So I kindly ask you not to do the same to me. Thank you.
That was very well said, sir.
I would have to agree. But one thing that Meps kind of said about in FNL briefly was someone asked him, and I don't remember the name. Sorry that I don't remember your name, player out there. But basically, the player asked, why can't we have cross-faction instances where, if you queue as a villain, you queue for Smallville or something, and then you do kind of like a Suicide Squad thing where maybe 2 people in your instance are heroes, 2 people in your instance are villains, and you're running the same instance. And I was thinking, this is not the first time this has been asked or brought up, and Meps was just kind of like, well, it can happen. And I was like, it can happen, can it? And it made me think, and I was like, this would be good for the game, because the main thing that it would help with is it would actually add more content for all of the factions to do. Because technically, if you do that, as a villain, you could queue for new raids, such as Black Dawn, Vengeance or whatever, I can't remember what it's called, most of the Hand of Fate instances, things like that. You could do all of that as a villain because, you would just they would put it as like, it's a Suicide Squad type of thing, and vice versa for heroes. So it would actually add more content to do, especially in one of the tiers that is lacking content, which is tier 4. So I think that if they did that, that would actually be really good for the game. Not to mention, we'd also get like Avarice Impurity or whatever. I can't remember what the hero's Rage Impurity version is called. Okay. But yeah, cross-faction PvE.
I see what you're saying. I think it should be restricted to certain instances, though, like Seeds and Dawn, I don't think those were very specific hero and villain instances. Like, you're going in there to fight Tala, in Dawn, but with Seeds and what's the other one for the villain side?
Seeds of Rot and Unpaid Dues. But see, I would see your argument on that. But we fight our own faction all the damn time. It really would make a difference.
True. See, we talked a little bit about this before. Long-time listeners of the show will know this. I had this idea when I first came on the SourceCast with Trex here, where I thought that's how the Brainiac storyline was going to end, where they were going to give us a raid where it'd be half hero, half villain, and we'd go in there to fight Brainiac. Which I still think would have been epic and awesome. Things like that, I'd be absolutely 100% for. Because, it's like we're already like with FOS raids. Like FOS 3, we're going in to fight Zod with Superman and Lex. In the Gates, Gates of Tartarus, we're going in there to fight, Brainiac with Wonder Woman and Cersei. So instances like that, cross faction makes a lot of sense in those aspects, story wise. But yeah, I completely understand. I get where you're going, especially when it comes to like alerts like Arkham. Where you're going there to make sure Mr. Freeze stays in Arkham, and then you go to the Hall of Doom to buy your gear from him with the marks you just got off of beating his ass. It is kind of silly, but at the same time, though, I think story wise, there's a reasoning for that. But also, I think story wise, I don't think Batman would be teaming up with Joker anytime soon to make sure that Poison Ivy doesn't get out of Arkham. Batman would be getting his own people together to do that.
But see, like, I'm looking at it from a player's point of view, where like if they added this, it would add more content to the game technically. Just because as my villain, I would be able to queue if they did this in the way I'm saying it, to where they kind of ignore certain story elements. Where like if they odds are they would just say, Amanda Waller would come in and be like, "Yo, I need you to do this, to disobey me, and I'll pretty much kill you with the collar on your neck." Blah blah blah. But I'm looking at it as in like, as a hero, I would finally have 2 more raids to do for tier 4 content. Whenever a DLC comes out, technically they can still work on the same amount of instances, but we get all of those instances no matter what. So DLCs could technically be almost doubling content for just because of how it all works faction-wise. And it could still technically fall under the Suicide Squad excuse. Even though that's really not an excuse, it does make sense to DC Comics.
Yeah.
They might have to push it a little more for heroes, though. I'm not sure if Amanda Waller would be like, "Hey, I need you to go stop Dr. Fate," or not Dr. Fate, but doing something villainous as a hero. They might have to be like, Calculator says something like, "Hey, we have you hostage, disobey us and we won't let you go," or something like that.
For cross-faction PvE, of course it's always something that's in the back of my mind on how it would be implemented. If it's on a story aspect, it has to be brought in well. It's very tricky, especially because you are right. It would open up more for the player base, but then even on the hero side, we would have to possibly wait for a villain queue as well. But that's going on to like a cross rate thing that that keeps popping in my mind as well. It's like, I don't want that. I hate that idea. I just don't like it.
Technically raids would pop 10 times faster if you had Suicide Squad enabled for PvE, because I'm sure like hero side queues do not take as long as villain side. You guys can probably get into a queue fairly fast.
I'll say faster than villains, I'm sure, but it's still a long wait.
But if it was the whole game being put into a pool that could, essentially the game picks and chooses from, it would make those 10-minute queues into literally like minute queues, especially if you pull the whole game that's currently on together into one queuing session.
Yeah, and we also also comes into my mind as well is that if we do something like this, people already feel that the storyline does. It truly does lean towards more of the hero aspect. I mean, even villains don't really feel like villains. And at the same time, that's also coming from DC and Warner Brothers, where, I'm sure like Yins and SJ probably have an amazing villain storyline, but it's too villain probably that DC and Warner Brothers probably shuts it down and they have to go this route. So...
Well, we talked about that. We talked about that a little bit at SOE Live and all that. Everybody's looking for like their Superman moment. That's why there's so many heroes in the game.
Yeah.
People are looking to have that Superman moment. Where they get that immersion and all that. And they get that Superman moment where they help somebody out. They beat a boss or something like that. They're looking for that Superman moment. You can't really have write it and stay within the limits of the ESRB rating for the game for people to have a Joker moment. Joker just blew up a bus with 30 nuns in it. That's Joker's. There's your Joker moment, villains. But how can you do that in a game that's rated T for teens? It's like, you can't really do that.
Yeah, sadly. Now, in my mind, I kind of want to see that in a video game now. I don't want to have my Joker moment, but if I had to choose a moment, that would probably be like, that was horrible. But that was really cool to watch.
Dude, I don't know about
really
you. I don't know about
scary.
you guys, but the first time I was on my villain and I approached one of those people standing on a ledge, like they're getting ready to jump, and I went there and I interacted with them, and my guy knocked them off. I was like, oh my god. I was like, that was evil. That was really evil, especially when you hear the guy. All the way through, I was like,
and it feels great until you go to the bottom.
Really freaking evil. Yeah. That's fine.
So,
Superman came along and caught him.
I guess so. It's
so the way I'm seeing this is, people ask to play Legends in PvE. We got Legends PvE. True, it's not the full. I guess it's not the alert that the community really expected, but play style wise, it's kind of what I expected. No rolls. You're really going in there and just wiping face as much as you can with no rules and rely on the rollless buffs. When it comes to the cross faction, right now on paper, it sounds like an amazing idea, but when the devs implement it, I feel that the community is going to turn against its own idea. It's like, I don't want to partner up with a villain in this alert. Did you not just ask for cross-faction? Did you not just ask for this?
Cross-faction for PvP. It's going to be like cross-faction for PvP. There's people out there, there's people, heroes and villains both, who intentionally do not turn on cross-faction, would rather sit in an hour-long queue and all that than get grouped up with a hero or villain on their side. The thing is they want that taken even further. They want that cross-faction off thing to include villains not getting on their team or heroes not getting on their team.
I would like, if possible, and if Meps has to message me privately on where our services or whatever, I actually want to see some kind of stats on the usage of the Suicide Squad cross X. What the hell is the Hero Side's version of this? I mean, what's it like? Team.
It's cross faction. It's cross faction. It's still
Task
Suicide
Force
Squad.
X.
Task Force X. Thank
Task
you.
Force X,
Yeah.
yeah.
I actually want to see the stats on that stuff being used in PvE against it not being used in PvE. I really want to see some kind of statistic with this. So Meps, if you can, I'll probably message you about it too. I want to see. I would like to see personally some stats on the pro and con of the a spreadsheet, if possible, on the uses of the Suicide Squad Task Force X, because I feel that if we pursue the cross faction in a PvE, they're gonna have to look at this stuff on a PvP standpoint. It's like, all right, well, how much is it used? What's the benefit? How many people use it? How many people don't? And use that number to determine if it's going to be used properly on the PvE side. Just using it. We're not even talking about what content is going to be used for it or not. Now, at the same time, if we have to test it, be sure that it's not going to be like full blown, here's your first alert cross faction. I'm going to guess it's going to be a seasonal. If we have tested on a cross faction seasonal to see how it plays out. The seasonal and the event tab is our guinea pig. And so far, the stat clamping is apparently not a big winner.
Yeah. For me though, I'm completely on board for it, but I think it should only apply to certain instances because of the story. I mean, you can only take that Suicide Squad thing so far. I mean,
Yes.
I don't see Amanda Waller wanting to help Joker, in anything. I honestly don't. I can see her wanting to help Luthor with certain things like Smallville. I could see her wanting to help, Luthor with things like, mainly Luthor. I can't see her really working with Cersei or Joker that much. Sorry about that. But it's in regards to like the big story things and all that, the FOS raids, Gates, Prime Battleground especially, I am completely all for cross faction for those instances right there. Going there, even
to me on a game,
even it would be really interesting. Not to interrupt you, it'd be really interesting all that. Just so you get all the division out there and all that. Do some cross faction with Nexus, and Paradox Wave, and all that. So I keep hearing villains still complaining about Ninja Batman. Let all the heroes experience it too.
Yeah. But what I was gonna say is, I mean, on like a developer's kind of standpoint, it'd be kind of weird if they limited it to only certain pieces of content. I mean, DC is already unorganized as crap already in terms of their content. It would just create more unorganized content, are a lot more things that just don't make sense in terms of everything the game has running for it.
Okay, well,
I think if they did... What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, all right, if that being the case, then, I mean, why would Sinestro care about a orange impurity in the Green Lantern then, with the Green Lanterns then?
It's not necessarily the big names that are getting involved. It's usually when it's like Suicide Squad or Task Force X thing, it's a lone hero or villain that's not major that's being put into the reins of that mission.
Right.
Like you don't see someone huge normally on Suicide Squad or Task Force X. In terms of cross-faction PvE, they probably wouldn't have Task Force X for the hero side. They'd probably have it to where the villains, the storyline for that and why a hero is helping out the villains in that certain instance would probably be like, like I said, they bring in someone like Calculator saying like, hey, if you help out in our cause or something like that, we'll let you go, or we won't kill you or something like that. Something that sounds villainous, but isn't necessarily being super forced. You know, like if Amanda Waller was like, hey, I know that you team up with Dr. Fate all the time, but, you know, he's just on my shit list right now, so, you know, go ahead and do some stuff with the villains real quick. It would make more sense on a lore standpoint if it was literally like, you know, in a situation where we did capture, say, you know, like for instance, you're teaming up with me and my league, Nightmare Legion Super Patriot, and then you get a like thing from Calculator saying, hey, we know that, you know, Lex captured you, whatever, but we'll let you go if you do this with us real quick. Or something like that. That would make more sense than Amanda Waller, like I said, popping up. In terms of heroes, they can still keep Amanda Waller because technically that makes more sense for it. It's just the hero side that they might have to be a little more creative. But I mean, what I just said kind of works already.
Right. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I was just trying. I just think cross-faction PvE would be a great way to technically introduce more content without technically introducing more content. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I mean, like for instance, that would also free up some more feats to gain for players. So that would also, in general, it retroactively adds more content to the game without the developers actually creating more content. Because, you know, as a villain, I'd be able to run Watchtower, get the feats in there. It would all just depend.
Yes, for me, it's more of a. It needs to make more sense to the story for a lot of the PvE stuff.
Exactly.
Like I said, with Gates and PBG, I can completely understand why heroes and villains would be fighting side by side right there. But I could not understand why a villain would be going into Watchtower containment to make sure that, you know, Brainiac doesn't blow up the Watchtower. They should want that to happen.
It's always.
I understand, but I mean, for me, the Suicide Squad that should not be something they immediately go to every time. There needs to be a real reason why that villain is gonna, you know, help out to, you know, keep the Watchtower from getting blown up, or, you know, why you know, a hero would be willing to go and help villains fight Swamp Thing. There needs to be more of a story element to it than just Suicide Squad.
I mean, it's always usually in the comic books, it's always a situation where the opposite faction kind of has no choice left.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we saw that with, like, Justice League Unlimited. You know, the final few episodes when Darkseid and all the armies of Apocalypse come down to Earth, and the Justice League and the Secret Society were, you know, fighting side by side, to beat Apocalypse and Darkseid. So I mean, moments like that, it completely makes sense to the story. You know, moments like, you know, Prime Battleground completely makes sense to the story. That's the final battle to get rid of Brainiac. You know, so it completely makes sense to the story for heroes and villains to team up right there. It makes, for me at least, you know, and I know there's Suicide Squad and everything like that, but for me, it makes no sense for a villain wanting to save the Watchtower.
Yeah. All right. So, on that note, there's your discussion on the cross-faction. And, of course, go to the forums, create a thread, talk a little bit about it. Recommend to put it on the seasonal event and see how it goes. I'm going to bug Meps for a little statistics because now I want to know. Because I want to be that guy now. So, as we end the show, before we give our shameless plugs real fast, I want one-word answers. One-word answers ain't gonna cut it. Really fast, because we're gonna make this really fast. Mid-season finales. We had Flash, we had Arrow, and we also. I'm not even gonna mention the Marvel thing. I don't even care anymore. So we're gonna mention Flash and Arrow. Soups, how did you feel about the season mid-season finale of Flash?
I'm gonna take my headset off because I have not watched it yet. I have not.
You
watched
son of a god!
I'm taking my headset off.
Trex. I did specifically catch up on both shows to see their Versus episode, though.
So you at least saw the crossover episodes.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I've seen the crossover episodes. I have not seen the mid-season finales yet.
But you appholes haven't seen the episode after?
No.
No, I
forgot
started watching The Flash earlier today. I started watching The Flash earlier today, but then I had to stop.
Why'd you have to stop?
It was just I had to stop. I was not happy about it because it was right at the part where they were on the football field, and
so you're halfway through the season finale.
I'm not happy about it, Trex. Do you not hear me say that?
Wait, I need to know. Did you have to stop watching it because of the show?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, because of the SourceCast? No.
Yeah, okay.
No. I would have kept watching it.
Thanks for that. I guess. Well, okay.
At least
so
he was honest.
At least he was honest. So I guess I'll ask your opinions about the season finale, the mid-season finales next week's show. Because I can't talk about it because I don't want to give away any spoilers. But I wasn't really going to give away spoilers, but I was just going to get everyone's general opinion because both of them, well, Flash, amazing! Arrow, this has been a mess season. This has not been a season 2 Arrow. This has been like, it's that season 1. It's that season 1 Arrow. It's not bad. It's still good, but it's been some hits and misses. So, all right. Be sure to find the SourceCast over on social media. You can find us on Facebook and the Twitter. Just type in DCUO SourceCast or just type in SourceCast. Either way, you'll find us because we'll find you. Or at least I will. You can also find all the episodes in MP3 format on iTunes. I stalk only one at a time, and she knows who she is. You can find all the episodes on MP3 on iTunes and also over at Trexlight.com and all the videos over on YouTube.com/Trexlight. You can also find episode 134 and a couple of other episodes over on Super Patriot's channel. Super Patriot, where can we find you?
You can, of course, find me at youtube.com/thedaddy's I'm also on the Twitter at the Daddy's House there, where you can occasionally find me arguing with fellow gamers and fellow players of the game and Spittle every once in a while. You can also find me on Facebook at facebook.com/daddyhouse and occasionally streaming here on Twitch with my pixelated streams at twitch.tv/thedaddy's Vagrant, where can we find you at?
You can find me at all my complicated sources, including YouTube, which is /the alpha tester. You can find me on Facebook /Vagrant Game. You can find me on Twitch /Vagrant Gaming. And you can also find me on Twitter /Vagrant_gaming. Trex, where can we find you?
You can find me over at youtube.com/Trexlight, over at Facebook /Trexlight, and especially on the Twitter at ThisIsTrex. Love the Twitter. And Rob, just saying now, I can't talk about Constantine because Constantine hasn't gotten to its mid-season finale yet. Let me say now, Constantine only has 13 episodes. NBC has already greenlighted the 13 episodes for season 1, but it still needs your help. #save Constantine on the Twitter, on the Facebook. Please save this show. It is good. It's finding its momentum. It's just taking a little longer, but it's still a great show.
I need to get caught up on that show too.
Hulu.
Oh, I've got it. Yeah, that's
wait, it might be canceled.
It's NBC has.
It has not been renewed yet.
It has not. NBC has said we're going to finish the 13 episodes and see how it goes. So Constantine hasn't been canceled. It hasn't been renewed yet. It's still on literally in limbo right now. Ooh. But we can still save it with hashtag Save Constantine. Watch the episodes, tweet them, Facebook them, keep the social media alive, and we will have our season 2. The show's really good. We're not saving Stargate Universe. Do not save Stargate Universe. No. 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 The premise was there. It just fell right through. Ugh. No. It was like Aliens meet Stargate. It was bad. No. But that is it for us, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to come back to twitch.tv/Trexlight for next week's SourceCast. We'll talk a little bit more about probably some of the changes from Game Update 43 once we actually had more time to play around with the changes for the advanced mechanics. Also go over to twitch.tv/DCUO for FNL next week. We're going to be on the final FNL tour of the 2014 year. It's going to be on the US PC. It's going to be the Bah Humbug Brawl. Yes. We will see you guys next week. You guys have a great weekend. Take care.
Bye.
Later.